or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. We're back. We're live. We're brand new. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, welcome in to our Thursday edition show. Little housekeeping note for you. Today's going to be the last show that we do for the week, Monday through Friday. We're going to be off tomorrow. We're going to enjoy a Friday away from the airwaves, but we will be back at it Saturday morning. Well, Saturday afternoon, really, technically, because it's going to go from 12 to 1:50 at University Kia on Saturday. So we will not have a live show tomorrow. So you get to sleep in tomorrow morning. But we will be back at it Saturday from 12 to 1:50 at our good friends University Kia. We got to go see Arthur Seaton, and we got to sell a car or two along the way. But
usually sell five.
Five?
Usually five.
That's right. It is five. They're very busy. They are very, very, very busy. Yesterday, the college football playoffs letting us know that if you want to set your TiVo, is TiVo still a thing?
Not really. I used to have one, though.
It always sounded good to say. We got a lot of stuff to get through, by the way. There's some stuff happening going on right now.
TiVo was just one of the first, I guess, with DVRs, I guess.
It was. I just didn't know if it was still around because now you can, I don't know, you've got everything on demand. I don't know. But anyway, they announced the college football playoff TV schedule. Your first-round college football playoff games, you're going to get one game on December 20th at 7 o'clock. And then you're going to get 3 games on December 21st. Those are going to be your first-round games. 2 of those are going to be on TNT. The other 2 are going to be on ABC and ESPN. Then on December 31st, you're going to get the Fiesta Bowl semifinal. And then on January 1st, or the quarterfinals, I should say. Then on January 1st, you're going to get the Peach, the Rose, and the Sugar quarterfinals. And then on January 9th, you're going to get one semifinal from the Orange Bowl. And then on January 10th, you're going to get the Cotton Bowl semifinal. And then on January 20th, you're going to get the championship. So they're spacing things out a little bit. You know, now you get the semifinals, and they were on the same day, back-to-back games. Yeah. That's not going to happen. You're going to get one semifinal one day, a semifinal the next day in college football. Your quarterfinals, you're going to get one quarterfinal on December 31st, and then when the calendar turns to January 1st, you're going to get 3 quarterfinal games on the same day. That's going to be a noon, 4 o'clock, and a 7:45. So you're going to get back-to-back-to-back semifinals.
Yeah. So
that's your college football playoff TV schedule. The other big story, and as you wake up this morning...
Very interesting. I thought they were settling on J.J. Redick. I've never coached before.
Yeah, so anyway...
LeBron's best friend.
The college basketball world could see a shakeup. And here is the interesting thing to remember. Right now, you got to say Kansas, Alabama, UConn... maybe Houston in there, maybe top 5 preseason. Loaded basketball rosters.
Yeah.
Loaded basketball rosters. Well, what's the one thing that can happen to tear a team apart?
Well, the portal's closed. I don't know really how it would tear the team apart.
Because as soon as Dan Hurley would agree to become the Lakers head coach, the transfer portal would open for the UConn Husky basketball program for 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting.
And we say that because the Lakers are targeting Dan Hurley as their next head coach, so much so that the two sides apparently, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, the two sides are negotiating furiously to get a deal done to become the next Lakers head coach.
Well, that's very, very. I was surprised at that when I saw the headline. I would be fascinated to see what UConn's next move would be to try to keep their roster together. I don't know if they would bump up one of the staff members for Dan Hurley because UConn, Kevin Ollie had the one moment in time, but Dan Hurley's been the one guy that's been able to get UConn basketball back after Jim Calhoun retired. So going to be very, very fascinating to see. And these moves have generally not worked. They've been utter unmitigated disasters. When you try to go from the NBA to college or college to the NBA, usually it's like oil and water. And again, I thought LeBron's best friend JJ was being targeted a few days ago. Supposedly he was emerging. I guess they decided to go in a different direction. But for your college basketball sake, I hope this falls apart. I hope this is like Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams when they were being targeted by the Lakers.
Right.
And it didn't happen, but we'll see. I mean, I never really pictured Dan Hurley as an NBA head coach. I always thought he probably wanted to stay a college coach because, look, man, we all know this. He could have been the head coach at Kentucky, but he didn't want to be. Sorry, Jeff. You can call in, raise hell, and all that stuff.
No, he could have been.
He could
have been. If he really
Nate Oates could have been too. I just want to tell you that. That's an absolute fact. You can talk about all what you want. We all respect Mark Pope, but he was about the fifth choice, okay? Understand that.
Fifth? That's gracious.
Whatever.
No, that's gracious.
So, but I mean, and he's probably still going to do a really good job because
I think it's
Pitino
clear.
Wasn't even the first choice.
I think it's clear that Mark Pope was not the first choice for Kentucky.
But selfishly, I love the college game. I'd like to see Dan Hurley stay.
He's got a 70% winning percentage on the college level, 141-58 in 6 seasons as UConn head coach, and back-to-back national championships. Can his style, can his personality fit in the NBA?
That is a great question because he's all about culture. He's all about not me. He's all about, you actually have to defend.
Defense is what his teams are built on.
And I just can't. I love the Hurley family. I can't see it when they walk in the room. Well, Coach, we got to have some load management going on. That's what I'd be saying. How much does he make?
Expletive.
Yeah, how much does he make? He's the one that still wants to play at 40 years old. Stop all this load management garbage. What I would turn around and tell the general manager, how many first-round series have we won the last couple of years? None. You want to know why? Because of load management.
They have used 7 different head coaches, have the Lakers, since Phil Jackson's last year in 2010, 2011.
That's
7 different head coaches.
But again, this is going to be really fascinating. I know you said they're furiously negotiating.
Yes, they're trying to make this happen.
Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't. I don't want Dan Hurley to ruin his life and take the Lakers' job.
If they are preparing, and Wojnarowski is saying that the team is preparing
a massive long-term offer.
Yeah. Kentucky put together a massive offer.
Oh,
so
$11 million a year.
Yeah,
or whatever.
But here's the other question, then, and this deals more with the UConn side.
I just got a text. This is funny. He said he wanted. I wonder if there's like stipulations in the contract clauses that we trade LaDum and not draft Bronny.
Alabama's roster is all set. Auburn's roster is all set. They have everything filled out.
They just had,
But if Dan Hurley leaves, and the transfer portal window would be open for 30 days,
right?
Are those guys really pretty much? UConn is in a good spot because there's not a lot of room left among the major college rosters for these guys to find homes with anyway.
Well, I would think that UConn would have to have a plan to execute quickly and they might have when Kentucky came calling and they decided not to go there. I would think they'd have a plan to quickly handle this if Dan Hurley left. So
you would think. 256-576.
It ain't gonna be Gino. He just signed a contract extension to stay in coaching the ladies there.
He's getting a lot of coin to do so as well.
Yeah,
a lot of coin.
If you're David Benedict, man, you got to have a plan. I don't know if it's in-house. I don't really think, to me, like when Dan Hurley became a candidate when he was at Rhode Island, and they said he was going to go to UConn, I thought it was a perfect fit. I thought, okay, it's Northeast. Right. UConn's had great success in the past. He'll do a great job fixing this. Now I don't know. I don't know who would be the obvious guy to, Seton Hall people probably wouldn't be too happy with this, but I would think Shaheen Holloway would be a good candidate.
Yeah. So Adrian Wojnarowski has put out there that this comes. Jeannie Buss has apparently been relentless in the recent weeks of Dan Hurley.
Dr. Jerry Buss's daughter.
Yep, and Rob Polinko.
Rob Polinko, the GM. Yeah.
They had in their mind some legacy coaches in L.A., or they've had some legacy coaches. Mm-hmm. And they have young players on their roster that they can see certainly handle more growth under a Hurley regime. They've added that this was the 20th anniversary of the Lakers' pursuit of, and you mentioned him,
Shaquille O'Neal,
Mike Krzyzewski.
Oh,
in 2004.
Well, yeah, because Shaq was 97, so that'd be almost 20.
Yeah, they offered him the job. He thought long and hard,
and I thought he was going. I mean, I was ready to stick my head in the toilet. I was really, really scared. It's the only time I've been scared. Because Kobe was involved with that, and Kobe and Coach K had a really close relationship. I really thought he might be going to the Lakers. I was like, oh, Lord, he may finally do it. And even Jay Billis, who is as close to – we've had him on the show. He's as close to Coach K as anybody. He even came on Sports Center, and he said, I think this could happen. I was like, oh, Lord, here we go.
Yeah.
And Coach K even told confidentially, like, Kobe really wants me to come coach. And I was like, oh, no, this is awful. But luckily it fell apart, and I'm hoping the same thing happens here. I'm hoping cooler heads prevail. He doesn't want to coach LeBron dumb and have to draft Bronny awful, and he stays, but we'll see.
That's kind of one of those what would have happened scenarios if it actually happened. I saw one the other day related to Tennessee football.
Yeah.
On the what would have happened if this would have happened scenario. And remember the 2012 Orange Bowl where Tennessee basically ran Clemson out of the building and scored 70 points on them.
Yeah.
In that.
Got Kevin Steele fired.
Apparently Kevin Steele was the defensive coordinator at Clemson, and Tennessee was set to hire him as the next defensive coordinator after that game. And apparently they had the plane waiting down there in Miami. After the game, they were going to name Kevin Steele as their defensive coordinator, but Derek Dooley got scared and pulled the offer from Steele after that game and ended up hiring Sal Sunseri.
And that was even worse. As the
defensive coordinator for Tennessee.
And I love Coach Sal, but oh my God, was that a train wreck?
It was bad. Dooley lost his job. That led to the Butch Jones era.
Champions of life?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they don't get cold feet and they hire Kevin Steele as their defensive coordinator? Just kind of like this whole thing, if Mike Krzyzewski would have taken the L.A. Lakers job and left Duke at that time, what will happen in the future? If Dan Hurley ultimately takes this job with the Lakers, what will, because UConn has a chance to three-peat as college basketball champions. I mean, it's kind of like, this whole Kevin Steele. I saw this the other day. I was like, oh, boy. What would have happened? Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, Coach K won 2 more national championships at Duke. He won in 10 and 15. Probably that wouldn't have happened. That would have been a disaster. And you know what's great about the Tennessee football situation, though? It was either mediocrity or suck. I mean, there was no great in between it. It's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Mediocrity or suckage.
Well, no, Jeremy Pruitt probably never would have happened.
I wish. God.
Fatimus Maximus would have looked like a genius because he probably still would be doing a lot. I mean, he still would be.
Who knows? They probably still would have screwed it up. I still don't even know if they're good now. They think they are. They think Nico Iamale Moneybags is going to be the first pick in a draft. We'll see. Might be. You never know.
But according to Pro Football Focus, does Tennessee have one of the top 10 quarterback rooms in America? Let's take a break and we'll find out on the flip side. Pro Football Focus has the top 10 quarterback rooms in college football. Does your team make the list? We'll find out.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
Six 497-7, that program. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Thursday morning, everyone. It is 7:19 on this Thursday. The temp right now reads 70 degrees. Should be another fantastic day here in the Tennessee Valley. Again, we have been talking, and the headline this morning is Dan Hurley leaving UConn to head to the Lakers to be their next head coach. That is something we're following, something the nation, I should say, the national sports scene is following this morning. Again, college football just around the corner. They announced their playoff schedules yesterday. It'll start on December 20th, wrap up on January 20th. So a whole month worth of college football playoffs. And it's interesting, too, because they will actually compete and line up against the NFL. The opening weekend will feature two head-to-head first-round matchups against the NFL. So remember, this was one of the things where the NFL and everybody was trying to tell college football, hey, look, you may want to move some of these games to not compete with the NFL, but college football stood strong, and they will go toe-to-toe for ratings with the NFL. Pro Football Focus. This is kind of interesting. Pro Football Focus has looked at college football quarterback rooms across America and have said, okay, these are the best college football quarterback rooms, not just based on your starters, but based on who is behind your starters as well. And there are some names that you might have forgotten as far as backups go. Georgia, they put Georgia as the best quarterback room in all of America. Carson Beck, the starter, followed by Gunnar Stockton, and then Jaden Rashada.
They didn't even have Jaden the NIL boy, second string, huh?
They have Carson Beck, and then they say behind him is Gunnar Stockton and Jaden Rashada.
A dude that's on his third school, committed to about 5, and turned down supposedly $9.5 million to try to get $13.5 million as a third stringer.
That's how they list it here in Pro Football Focus.
No wonder he's suing. He's definitely a Democrat. Boo hoo hoo hoo! You didn't pay me my money, and I shouldn't be a third stringer. Boo hoo hoo hoo! I need some money.
Oh, the second best quarterback room. And it's interesting because Carson Beck is a Georgia. I mean, he was a Georgia. He's not a transfer.
No,
Carson Beck is homegrown. So
now he was committed to Alabama and then flipped, but of course Alabama signed Bryce Young.
But now number 2 in the best quarterback room, according to Pro Football Focus, is Dylan Gabriel and the Oregon Ducks, who Dan Lanning, by the way, has filled his quarterback room with pretty much all transfers.
Yeah.
You got Dylan Gabriel as the starter. Then Dante Moore is the
from UCLA.
From UCLA.
Yeah.
And then they have a redshirt freshman in there, Austin Novosad, but that is the number 2 quarterback.
Remember,
room.
their other quarterback, Ty Thompson, is now going to be the starter for our guy.
Yes.
Summerall.
Yes, he is.
At Tulane.
The third best quarterback room in college football, according to Pro Football Focus, belongs to the Texas Longhorns. And no shock here because you got Quinn Ewers as the starter, Arch Manning as the backup.
He makes more than the starter, maybe. We don't know.
And then Trey Owens is the third-string quarterback. Yeah. Because remember, Malik Murphy, who was number 2,
Duke. Yeah.
He gone.
He went to Duke. He's going to start at Duke.
Yep. And then the Ohio State Buckeyes, or Suckeyes, number 4.
Sucks.
They're number 4 with the quarterback room. Because remember, they got a transfer now as well in Will Howard. Yeah. He from Kansas State is now presumably the starter there.
Sharman. By the way, Lincoln Sharman was another walk-on we were talking about yesterday. And I'm sure he became a coach because he was a walk-on anyway. Number
5, the 5th best quarterback room, belongs to the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Now, with Ohio State, though, you've got Will Howard, you've got Julian Sayin, right?
They list – you know what? Okay, they list Devin Brown as – they say, okay, they got Will Howard. Then their second choice, they say – not second choice, but then their second name that they list – is Devin Brown is getting back after getting some time last year. Yeah. And then Howard is the projected starter. The room rounds out with 5-star recruit Julian Sayin, Air Noland.
Oh, I forgot about Air. One of them cats is leaving. I can just about guarantee you that. The Air up there.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to sit there and look at Alabama's quarterback room and look at everything and say, okay, which one of these guys possibly
Julian
could
was a
leave?
late addition there.
Right. Ohio State is in that same boat because Will Howard, I think, is a senior. I think this is 1 year for Will Howard, so he's gone. Mm-hmm. You would think Julian Sayin could be an heir apparent there.
Well, you would think Devin Brown and Aaron Nolan would be on the next Southwestern flight to somewhere. More than likely in there.
Look,
they're going to sign a quarterback in this class, and they may get another transfer.
Wait a minute. These cats are getting NIL now. They ain't flying Southwest.
Well, I don't what. Okay, I
they
don't know.
flying Delta first
Well,
class.
hell, I didn't say they were. Is Southwest first class? Does it suck? I don't know.
No, they don't. I don't think they have first class.
I'm sorry. I'm not as familiar with it. You're more familiar with the airline crap.
These cats
You're flying to Oregon all the time. I should have let you answer it.
These cats are flying Delta first class. I mean, they're
my bad.
They're going into the Sky Lounge and they're hanging out for free food.
So what you're telling me is it'll probably be a chartered plane anyways. But at worst case, Dan Hurley will be flying Delta.
Yeah. These
if he
guys
takes this job, it just absolutely it's disgusting.
What is it? What airline? What is the game day private jet charter service that they fly in all the guests on? Wheels Up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. These cats are using Wheels Up. They're getting private jets. They ain't flying no Southwest.
Okay, my bad.
But the fifth best quarterback room is the Alabama Crimson Tide. They say that's number 5 because of Jalen Milroe being the starter. But then they also say it's an impressive room because you've got young guys like Ty Simpson, Dylan Lonergan, and Austin Mack in the room.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got a good room, but again, I also know it's going to be tough to keep all 4 of those guys, and and I've already been mildly surprised with Ty Simpson staying, but he's had a really good spring, and I think he likes the new coaching staff and he wants to compete, and so and then once Jalen Milroe leaves, he would be the heir apparent, and then would get the
this
first
is
chance.
it for Jalen Milroe, right? I mean, this is it for him. This year. I mean, this is.
It would have to be. If he's going to become a pro prospect, this is going to have to be the year.
Okay. So number 6 on their list, and this is funny, is the Ole Miss Rebels and Jackson Dart. I didn't even know who they had behind Jackson Dart, and it's Austin Simmons and A.J. Maddox and Walker Howard. That's who Ole Miss has. I've never even heard of some of those cats. But here's a surprise for you. Number 7 of all the quarterback rooms in America, the Florida Gators, according to Pro Football Focus, have the 7th best quarterback room in all of America. Graham Mertz as the starter, and then true freshman DJ Lagway, who's not even taken a college snap yet, is on that list, along with Clay Millen. I mean, is Florida really that talented in the quarterback room?
Well, Lagway is a rare talent, most people believe. Is a dual threat and a 5-star, and they would not be shocked if he played. And Graham Mertz actually had a very, very good year last year. It's not his fault that they were not good defensively, and then the running game sputtered, and quite frankly, wasn't well protected. They spent some NIL on some offensive linemen that I could have told them couldn't block, me. So I mean, they O-line wasn't very good. The defense, started off well, but then got some injuries, and I think by the end of the season kind of crumbled. But I thought Graham Mertz, until he got hurt late, he was really good. I mean, I think he played at a very high level, much better than people were giving him credit for, because they were kind of giving him down the road last year, saying that he struggled at Wisconsin and he wouldn't be that good, and he was good. He was in the top half of the league, but Lagway is a guy that they spent a lot of time recruiting, had to hold off Texas A&M and some other schools and USC and some poachers late, but he's a very, very talented kid, and certainly I do think Florida has a couple of talented guys, no doubt about it.
All right, number 8 on the list, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Number 9, Penn State. And number 10, this could put some expectations with the Missouri Tigers because Brady Cook is back.
Now, wait a minute, man. I haven't heard Tennessee yet, because all I've been told is Tennessee's got the most talent, and then they're recruiting other 5-star first-round lock picks. I mean, it's like Mike Griffiths doing the reporting.
That's what I said. When we were talking about Tennessee in that first break, I was asked, did Tennessee have one of the top 10 quarterback rooms in America?
I don't know.
And according to Pro Football Focus, that answer is no. Tennessee does not have one of the top 10 quarterback rooms in college football.
Interesting. Don't know how you're going to win a national championship without it, but maybe Nico is that good, man. We'll see.
But LSU's not on this list either.
Oh, yeah.
Texas A&M is not on that list.
Yeah, there was some crowing going on since Alabama had to take what they said was a 3-star quarterback. That Alabama's recruiting slipping, taking Keelan Russell. And my question was Jaden Daniels a 4 or 5-star quarterback? I think he was 4, but he definitely wasn't a 5-star. And
right.
He won the Heisman. And was Joe Burrow a 5-star coming out of high school?
No.
No. Did he even play at Ohio State?
No.
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd thinks so.
Well, no, he didn't know. See, he forgot.
Yeah, that's
with Urban Meyer sitting right next to him. Good Lord. I mean, but I almost thought that had to have been put on. I was like, certainly you couldn't make that mistake. But I mean,
well, yeah.
But I mean, they were both great players. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Mac Jones wasn't a 5-star. He torched LSU.
And you know who else is not on this list? You would think USC would be on this list because of the quarterback guru that Lincoln Sharman is.
Yeah, but he's lost some quarterbacks, though, man. And then Caleb Chalane was the first pick in the draft. We'll see if he can avoid the Chicago Bear disaster. I mean, I'm still not convinced. I actually really like Jaden Daniels. I thought he was the best player in the country last year. But, again, all I'm saying is and when Jaden Daniels transferred, that didn't set off
alarm.
He's gonna be the best player in college football. They thought he had a chance to start and he would be good, but
he was coming out of Arizona State.
He had moments. He wasn't consistent. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So credit to Brian Kelly and his coaching staff for stepping up and coaching him up, man.
All right, 7:31 on a Thursday morning. We've got to get a break. I just thought that was interesting because to me, there's a lot of college football programs that have great quarterback rooms that are not on this. I know Michigan lost their starter.
Yeah, he went pro, yeah.
But they're not on that list as well. There's just some interesting teams that are on there. There's no Big 12. I don't think I saw there's no Big 12
and you got to keep reminding yourself there's no more Texas and Oklahoma in that Big 12.
No, so there's no Big 12 team in here listed that has a top 10 quarterback room according to Pro Football Focus. No Big 12 team. None.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the Big 12 is going to look like this year. I mean, that's why SMU may be a favorite. Or you know what? Gus Malzahn could be a favorite.
Well, he's got an former SEC quarterback starting for him, KJ Jefferson.
And yet they don't have a top 10 room. Yeah. All right, let's get a break in, shall we? 256-576.
He goes 8-4 a lot. Just saying. But in Central Florida, that's not a disaster.
There's a lot of college football programs that would take 8 wins.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that would take 8 wins. There's some that 8 wins get you fired.
Yeah.
Let's get a break in. Talking ball when we return.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show. Followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere. Or Poblano Frites. Second, try one of Bad Daddy's giant chopped salads. Third, our famous chef-inspired burgers with lots of different taste options. And before you head home, finish up with one of our shakes or delicious banana pudding. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and Clift Farm in Madison. There's nothing better than a perfect cookie loaded with the finest all-natural premium ingredients. And you'll find these perfect cookies baked fresh every day at Cookie Fix. Choose from rotating flavors like classic chocolate chip, cranberry jumble, oatmeal toffee, and many others. Or take home one of their dough-to-go selections and bake them fresh at home. Cookie Fix also has cookie cakes for special celebrations, and they offer catering and shipping. Find out more and order online at cookiefix.com. In Twickenham Square, 300 Pelham Avenue. Cookie Fix. Grab some cookies and spread some smiles.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
All right, welcome back. So this is what many UConn fans are hoping and playing this morning as they drive into work there in Storrs, Connecticut.
Right.
So please don't come.
I thought about this.
Don't come.
I thought about this.
Don't come.
And they're using this as another friggin' excuse to draft Bronny James in the second round. Trying to develop him.
You know who sings that?
Who? I got Southwest Airlines all screwed up, so I'm not going to guess. Tell me.
KC and the Sunshine.
Sunshine Man, uh-oh.
KC and the Sunshine
Well, it ain't
Band.
sun shining right now in UConn.
Please don't go.
They're
Please don't go. That's what
they were Drew 20 years ago, and I'm saying, please don't go, Coach K. Don't go to the Lakers.
That's what they're saying in Storrs, Connecticut this morning.
Oh.
As the Lakers are aggressively, I guess that's the best word to use,
They're even using Bronny James as an example of drafting in the second round and developing. That's disgusting.
They say they want to develop a
Program. Yeah.
A program. They don't want to just have revolving head coaches anymore.
Whatever happens, we always know that happens with LeBron. No. How many more years is he going to play?
It happens in the NBA a lot.
Oh, good Lord. I mean,
it does. It does.
It's got to go better than when Tark went to San Antonio. Good God. I mean, that didn't last half a season, and he ended up in Fresno.
The Lakers wanted Tark back in the day before
they wanted Coach K. They wanted Roy Williams. They've tried to do this before.
Before they even went with Paul Westhead. They wanted Tark.
How did Paul? Now that go? Well, Magic didn't like Paul. He ended up back in college.
No. Yeah. Oh boy, 256-576-4977. Let's go out to the phone lines. Richard is with us. Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
Morning, guys. Talking about UConn. Coach Cal has like 4 or 5 scholarships at Arkansas.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, who knows? If he hadn't took the Arkansas job, maybe that's where Coach Cal would have ended up.
So so Cal can sit there and probably start making phone calls up to whatever whatever Connecticut area code is.
That would be fascinating, man. If this happens, what does UConn do, man? I mean, who do they go get?
I know, they've won, of course, the last two national championships, but they had financial problems in the athletic department, so he may be worried about, this new, NIL, the new settlement and all that. Could be something to do with that, because I know the football team, pretty much, broke the athletic department, and they went back to the Big East, out of whatever conference. Were they in the AAC?
They were in the American Athletic, yeah.
Yeah. So, he may just be worried about, what's going to happen in the future out. But then again, like you guys were talking, Billy Donovan's been, a little bit successful in the NBA to where he's at least kept jobs. And then, Brad Stevens, I guess you would say, was able to move up. Was fairly successful at Boston. But most of these, college guys going to the NBA have been failures.
Well, and Billy has won, but not big. So yeah. I just don't. It's going to be fascinating to find out, man. If I were UConn, I'd swing for Billy. What the hell,
Well, they just hired his son as the G League coach for Chicago, Billy the Third. I just saw yesterday.
Didn't know that. Good nugget there.
Well, UConn would probably, basically hire whoever their Kevin Ollie is, probably, because one thing about it is, most of your schools are in session for summer school and practicing.
Yeah, they really
that's
are.
What I'm saying. I mean, it's a very odd time if Dan Hurley, if he says and likes the message the Lakers are delivering and the money and all that other stuff, because it really can't be about the money, because Kentucky was offering the money.
$11 million a year.
So if he likes the message that the Lakers are sending, it does put UConn in a weird spot, because you're not going to go get a coach, a top-level college coach, to come in there and be your head coach. That domino, I think, is too late to fall. So you're going to have to go out and get like a Billy Donovan and take a swing at him, or do what they did when Jim Calhoun retired, and you're going to have to promote from within.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's kind of like why Alabama ended up with Mike Shula. It was kind of an unwritten rule after spring practice. You don't take college coaches. You don't poach rosters out. So, they took NFL guys or guys without jobs, pretty much.
Right. No, I mean, that's the thing. UConn would be in a very precarious spot as far as head coaches go. I mean, you're not going to go take a swing at somebody, although it is the Big East, and it is a very, as far as basketball-wise goes, it's a very attractive job. And you have a roster potentially coming back that is number 1, number 2 in the country.
You may have some of these guys that got fired. I mean, because he's older, but like Jim Boehlein's still out there.
Oh, John Boehlin, yeah,
John, out. And like I said, you had several guys get fired, but like I said, I would assume they would promote from within. And I know Dan Hurley's son was on the team, so I guess he graduated.
I was just saying that before we went to break. I believe I was telling Scott, I think his son is done now. So that might be another motivation for Dan Hurley to go. But I'll just say this. Bob Hurley Sr., if you've ever read Woj's book, The Miracle of St. Anthony, one time, he almost left, St. Anthony to go to college level. He let Pete Gillen talk him into becoming his lead assistant at Xavier. They basically had agreed on everything. He was going to go, and then Bobby and Dan basically just had a meltdown and just talked him into staying because they wanted to play for their father at St. Anthony. Yeah. They were young at that point. Because Pete Gillen was aggressive, thought it was time for Bob Hurley Sr. to go to the college level. Almost happened, and it didn't. We'll see if this happens here. And I mean, I don't really think. Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say I don't think UConn can do much more with a contract, though. Go ahead.
Well, one thing is out in Los Angeles, you have a lot of options to spend money, and Scott was saying, they want to kind of build up these young guys, work with them, have a long-term plan. Sure. Basically, it's showtime. I mean, you don't have time for a long-term plan. You're sitting there, 20-60. Yeah, you think he may last 1 or 2 years. They're not going to put up with that in L.A.
Well, especially when across town the Clippers are getting their own arena and their owner is spending big money and bringing in some stars. Now they're not healthy some of the times, but you got Paul George, you got Kawhi Leonard,
well,
and
you got the Dodgers, you got hockey, you got
you got a lot of options.
You got Musselman in town now. I mean, I'm just saying is historically, you might can rebuild at San Antonio. The L.A. Lakers don't rebuild.
That's true.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys later.
Thanks,
you,
Richard.
Good stuff.
7:45 on a Thursday morning. Look, we walk in here, we get ready to do this thing, we get rocking, we get rolling, and stuff like this happens.
I know.
And you get caught up in trying to figure everything out and the excitement. You know what? You forget the day. When you're having a little bit of fun, forget what day
we're going to have Blake Lovell on in about 15 minutes, and we're going to have to ask him about this. We were going to talk about, Southeastern Conference rosters, but we've got to ask him. I mean, he's worked for Blue Ribbon. And
I'm going to tell you right now, Nate Oates is a candidate for the UConn job.
I know they'll have him. They ain't getting him, but,
By the way, there is big Alabama basketball news.
Right.
Not as big. You know what? Get the shovels out. The shovels out. They're going to put some shovels in the dirt there in Tuscaloosa. Just not what you think it is.
This is not the Goodfellas and Casino shovels.
Yeah. Well, they may uncover some bodies.
Oh, man, that's Goodfellas is such a classic movie.
Oh,
we got to go by my mother's house and get the shovel.
All right. I got to get rid of this cough. It sounds like I smoked forever. I don't even.
You sound almost like Jeff's cousin.
I do, and trust me, it is all sinus stuff. It is not. It is. I am not out back hacking along. Anyway, let's get a break in and remember Dan Hurley and UConn. Please don't tell me if you're a UConn fan. All right, let's get a break in.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, The Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Vandy Man. At noon, it's The Tom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
With Verizon, now everyone can get our best phone deals.
Even if I'm new?
Even if you're new.
What if I've been with Verizon forever?
Oh, yeah. You see, new and existing customers get the amazing iPhone 15 with tons of storage on us. With any iPhone trade-in, any model, any condition. Guaranteed with unlimited ultimate.
Here's one. What if?
That's a yes. There's a deal out there for everyone. Only at Verizon. $829.99, 128 gigabyte only device payment or full retail purchase with new or upgrade smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan. Minimum $90 a month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Trade-in terms apply.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Now, coming up at the top of the hour, Blake Lovell's going to join us.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting because Blake does a lot with college basketball.
He does.
And the interesting point is, remember when we were talking about college football and Nick Saban retires and it's like, okay, who are they going to go get? They go get Kalen DeBoer. Well, that means the transfer portal window opened. Well, when Nick Saban retired, the transfer portal window opened for Alabama. The players had 30 days to leave. When Kalen DeBoer left Washington, the transfer portal window opened because they had 30 days, and the dominoes fell. Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan, transfer portal window open for 30 days. We are really, really late in the college basketball roster building season. If Dan Hurley ultimately decides to go from UConn to the Lakers, the transfer portal window would open for the UConn players. Now, if UConn would say, go out and get another college coach, take a sitting college coach from the college ranks, then that transfer portal window would open as 30 days as well. We could potentially see windows open from major college basketball programs this late in the season. John Calipari leaves Kentucky, their window opens. Arkansas, Eric Musselman leaves Arkansas, their window opens. The USC, this whole thing started when the USC coach goes from USC to SMU. That started the whole domino effect in college basketball. We could see that again. If Dan Hurley ultimately takes it, this college basketball transfer portal thing could get really silly and crazy here in the next 10 days.
Really could. I mean, it could, I mean, if UConn's roster is, free to be picked, I mean,
there's talent there because they're projected to be a top 2 team in college basketball.
Well, right now Alabama ain't got no spots. So I mean, they 13, but there's other rosters out there got spots, and Dave Benedict.
Would you create a spot if you're in
today's
college basketball world?
Not if I'm Alabama. I like my roster.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, but that's just me. And Dave Benedict, he's going to have to act quickly. Again, what I was telling Richard, I just don't know that there's much more that UConn can do with the contract. They're already paying him such great money. I mean, it's just going to come down to, does Dan Hurley really want to go to the NBA and strap his wagon to the Lakers, saying right now we want to build a program, we want to do this, we want to do that, and then when the Clippers are outdrawing them and they're struggling and trying to build, are they going to just scrap it? It's kind of what Richard was referring to, because it's Los Angeles, man. They don't really rebuild. Look at the Dodgers. They spend more money than anybody. Now they only won 2 World Series since the modern era, but hey, it is what it is. They spend a ton of money. I mean, the Los Angeles Angels, or is that what they're still called? Yeah, I think so.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
I mean, they've paid.
Whatever they do.
I know, but they've paid Mike Trout a ton of money. I mean, they've always spent money.
They have.
I mean, it's a tough deal. Maybe the Lakers actually are gonna, do what the Celtics did when they hired Brad Stevens, and then Brad got bumped up to the front office. They have built. I mean, they've spent money, but they've also drafted well and developed well.
They have
maybe the Lakers are going to do that. I don't know. I just, Jerry West, he built organizations, but then he also could go out and get star players because he traded for Kobe. Everybody remembers that. Yes. He traded Vlade for Kobe, and then he went and got Shaquille O'Neal. But I just don't know. It sounds good what the Lakers are trying to do, but will they stick with it? That's the huge question. Now, Dan Hurley could get paid a ton of money, and then he could go back to college, and he would be like Billy Donovan. Everybody would want him. because of the success he had. But I think he's a really perfect fit in Storrs, and I'd like to see him stay there for college basketball's health, but we'll see.
All right. Coming up in the top of the hour, Blake Lovell will join us. Speaking of coming up,
Yeah.
Monday, June 17th.
Yeah.
The second annual Rocket City Awards takes center stage in Mars Music Hall. I am ready for that. You know, we had a meeting on Tuesday about this.
Yes.
And the czar sat there and well, you know, we've redone the menu. But he never told us what the menu was.
Oh, the food?
Yes. Remember, he's like, oh, we've redone the menu.
I haven't heard either.
And he's like,
I would imagine.
but we didn't tell us what it was.
No.
I'm curious to know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're curious and you're listening to us, and if you want to be a part of it, $100, get you a spot next to us. Literally, if you spend $100, we will put you next to us, and you can eat at our table. We'll put you at the big boy table. We won't put you like at Thanksgiving where you're back with the kiddie table. No, $100, we will put you at the table with us, and you can enjoy the night of celebration for our high school athlete of the year, coaches of the year, teams of the year, our college athlete, our professional athlete, our lifetime achievement award, our inspirational award. We will put you there with us. $100, you can sit at the table with us.
Speaking of the inspirational award, that'll be Hartselle baseball, and we're going to talk to their new coach in the second hour.
Yeah, that'll be.
It should be very familiar to the
so
local
I
folk.
put the finishing touches on that script yesterday.
Yeah.
And I did pretty good. Thought I did pretty good. That'll be it'll be good. So you're not going to want to miss any of that. Again, the email, if you would like to attend, it's very, very simple. 977 WZZNevents@gmail.com. That is the email. Okay. Again, $100. You can sit next to us. We will put you in between us if you want to. I don't care. But you can sit at the table with us, enjoy a nice dinner, enjoy the festivities. $100 will get you in. $50 if you want to sit upstairs and not enjoy the food. But, I mean, come on.
But you can come down and get some drinks.
Come on, no. I mean, seriously. Just kick in an extra $50. Enjoy the food. Enjoy it all. I mean, you can do everything. Mm-hmm. It'll be there. It'll be a good night. 7 o'clock, June 17th on Monday. We're going to have the red carpet. We've got a photographer. Our good friend Carlton Rice will be there. He's going to take some photographs on the red carpet. It's not, you don't got to go get a tux or anything like that. You can come in a pair of khakis and whatever. It's very simple. It's very relaxed and it's very fun. And it's going to be on Monday.
And I promise my pants won't be too long this year.
Are you getting them tailored?
No, I have some different pants.
Good thing that you will be in pants.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be a good time. And if you cannot make it that night, WHNT is going to live stream it. We have partnered with our good friends at WHNT. They're going to live stream the Rocket City Awards Monday, June 17th. Next week, we'll start previewing some of the nominees for all of our awards because in case you want to get out there, you may have someone that you know or coached with or coached against or something like that, and you want to go out there and celebrate with them, and we want you to be there as well. Monday, June 17th, Rocket City Awards, 8 o'clock hour, courtesy of SportsMed. Coming up next, Blake Lovell.
Scott might even do his Ed Ogeron impersonation again. He was doing it a few minutes ago with a gravelly voice.
Yeah. That's Tom Abraham. I sit in the meeting and I tell you everything but the menu.
He's congested too, everybody.
Huh?
You are.
What?
You were congested.
Oh, I was. Have been, yes.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show. followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now. 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. Welcome back. Hour 2 of Talking Ball underway. And a big thank you to SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They are dedicated to providing care that improves lives. You can give them a call, 256-881-5151, to experience the SportsMed difference. It's SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They are the official training providers of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, which, by the way, you can hear on Talk Radio WZZN each night during the baseball season. And they are also the official training providers for the UAH Chargers. And, of course, 97.7 ESPN The Zone is your home for the UAH Chargers. Hour 1 was consumed with some college football conversation as well as some college basketball conversation, because you would think in the middle of the offseason we have not a lot going on, but apparently right now we could have the biggest story. Okay, John Calipari leaving Kentucky was a big story.
For Arkansas.
And going to Arkansas. That was a big story. This here, Dan Hurley potentially going from UConn to the Lakers, I think would be a bigger story, because they're the two-time defending national champions, a favorite to win a third one, and what he has built at UConn is impressive. But we'll have to wait and see if it comes to happen.
Yeah, and we're going to talk some college basketball with our next guest. He does an outstanding job, with Southeastern14.com. We've already talked some college baseball this week with his colleague Chris Lee, but you can catch him, our next guest, on YouTube whenever any SEC basketball intel drops. And he's also done a lot of work, with our buddy Ken Cross. He's and he's been with the Blue Ribbon College Basketball. He's covered national college basketball as well. That's why we're going to talk a little Dan Hurley with him. But it's always great to catch up with Nashville's own Blake Lovell, and he's with us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Blake, good morning.
Hey guys, how are you? We're
good, and I'm sure you were were getting ready to join us. You've been following this on social media and the ESPN and everything. It was the breaking story of the morning. Your thoughts on Dan Hurley potentially going to the Lakers and setting off a seismic shift so late in this process of roster building for college basketball?
Yeah, it could be wild for college basketball, depending on where UConn turns after this and who they kind of go all in on. But I think I'm not surprised by this at all, because whenever the Kentucky job became available and Dan Hurley's name was being thrown out there, the reason that everybody could convince themselves that it could be a realistic possibility is because Dan Hurley's the kind of guy that loves the challenge. He loves to be able to be at the top of the top. And now that he's won back-to-back national championships at UConn, something no one's done since Billy Donovan in Florida way back when, now what's the next challenge? And you wondered, okay, is that going and returning Kentucky to their former dynasty type glory, or is it this scenario where now he goes to try to do the same thing for the Lakers? So that doesn't surprise me at all. I think this is something that, sure, were any of us expecting this? No, but now that you sort of piece everything together and connect the dots, it makes all the sense in the world. And again, what I'm most curious about is really just saying, does this set off that seismic shift, as you guys just said, a domino effect that we've not seen before maybe in June in terms of the college coaching carousel, but we'll wait and see on that in terms of where UConn turns and if he does indeed take the job.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a very similar situation to when Jim Calhoun retires, that UConn just looks at Kamani Young and says, we're just going to elevate you. This roster will hopefully stay intact and will be business as usual.
Yeah, and you would think this late in the process, that's something that would probably, if you're putting betting odds out, I would think that's very high up the list. And, too, I think someone like Dan Hurley, and we've seen this situation before, right, where will there be any hard feelings from UConn's end? Probably not at this point. Will they be, disappointed? Sure. But if it's like, hey, I just won back-to-back national championships for you, I'm going to go coach the Lakers. I mean, if you're UConn, I think you understand. And so my guess would be you're going to give him a little bit of leeway in terms of helping you decide who's next. And, again, we've seen that situation before. Or maybe they're just like, you know what, we're going to go do this thing on our own, and we are going to go outside and go hire, one of the top names out there or something, try to get the biggest name we can get to replace. Again, you have to replace the guy who just won back-to-back national championships. So it's never easy to step into this role, no matter who it is. Remember, we were talking about the same thing with Mike White, right? Whenever he became Florida's coach after Billy Donovan left. But the difference was, that was a little further removed from, them winning back-to-back national championships. It wasn't immediately after. So this, in that sense, is even tougher. And so, it could be that scenario for UConn. I would think that's one of the favorites right now, but you just never know, especially when you have something like this. But I would be willing to bet that, and you guys know this, it's just the way of how the transfer portal works now. If you go out and hire someone else, and knowing that all of these guys could just be out of there as soon as Dan Hurley signs on the dotted line, that's a very scary proposition. And so you want to try to have some of that continuity to try to keep all your guys there, because let's be honest, before Dan Hurley leaves, if he leaves, and we were talking about this team with a decent shot to maybe three-peat. So,
well, and Blake, I will ask this too. We Scott and I've been talking about it, because I said, well, the portal's closed, but he's like, yeah, it reopens though, of course, for the UConn guys if the coaching change is made. But UConn could lose players, but how do they get players when so many of the top line guys have already made their decisions?
Yeah, that's the hard thing, and so I think that makes this a bit more trickier to navigate.
Right.
And that's going to be the curious part. And like we talked about, I think that's where the continuity could be very important here, because knowing that you've got to try to put everything in place you can to keep the guys that are there. And of course, one of the biggest talking points of the past week or so was Alex Karaban returning and thinking, all right, that puts UConn in a situation where, all right, now they are kind of in a position to be a team that can win another national championship, to get him back, and then everyone else that's still on the roster, of course, and what they, kind of added and bring him back. So I think this is going to be one of those things where, look, if let's say the plan is this: is Dan Hurley takes the Lakers job, Young is promoted, and you have that continuity, you're able to keep some of these guys. But there's no guarantee, even if you promote, a guy that's already on the staff, that you're going to be able to keep these guys. And like you said, what happens if you lose a couple of these guys? Where do you go pick them from? Because, we know they're still, if we just keep it in the SEC, right? There are still teams like Arkansas that are out there trying to get guys. Cal still needs to, maybe a spot or two more to be able to fill that roster out. And so he's going to be swinging at the biggest guy. So maybe Arkansas has the edge up over you. And there are other SEC teams, there are other big teams out there that are trying to get some of these top transfers. And so it does kind of put UConn in, like I said, a very sort of tricky situation here. They've got to make sure they get this succession process right, because if not, you really can see your program just completely kind of crumble very quickly just based on, the rules that are in place.
Well, UConn, no doubt a perennial. I mean, this coming year, regardless of whether or not Dan Hurley stays, talent-wise, they're expected to be one of the top 5 teams in the country. Closer to here, what Nate Oates has done, and staying in that Dan Hurley tree, what Nate Oates has done has put together a roster that in the preseason will be a number 1, 2, 3 team in the country.
Yeah, no, Alabama, I've said many times over the past, this was with the assumption that Mark Sears was coming back. I always sort of felt that way. Never really changed my opinion on that. And now that he's back, I've said I think Alabama's a preseason top 3 team, and I don't know how I could put anyone else ahead of them. And you can debate the 2 teams that should be around them or whatever, but to me, I'm like, when I do my top 10, top 15, there's been no scenario where I've kept Alabama out of the top 3, and it's just knowing that you do bring a player back like Sears, knowing getting Nelson back, getting Stevenson back, Reitzel's back, and then it's just look at what they've added, and I think that's where. You've got Big Cliff coming in, Chris Youngblood. I'm really high on Chris Youngblood. I think he's kind of maybe the unsung guy in this group. I think that he's a winner. Coming from Kennesaw State, where that program was at the very bottom, he helped turn that around. That's the same thing at South Florida. And certainly their expectations, I think, are very high for what Aiden Holloway can be in his second year. Houston Malek comes over, and you just keep going down this list, and you're just thinking, my goodness, this team is deep. They've got the top-level stars you need to win a national championship. And when you look at just that projected 1 through 8, 1 through 9, whatever it is, it's like you could look at 11 or 12 on this roster and feel like that's someone who, maybe on a 6th, 7th team in the SEC is probably, potentially getting starter-type minutes. And that may seem like an exaggeration to some people, but that's just how good this roster is. So, yeah, Alabama's sitting in a good spot. I don't know how there's any reason other than an injury that I would change my mind before November that this is going to be the best team in the SEC, that this is going to be the team that's favorite. I just don't see anyone else in the league that has the roster that Alabama does right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Alabama's got a great roster, but if the portal opens for these UConn guys, you know where this is going. Kentucky and Arkansas haven't finished their rosters completely. We know Trevon Brazile, I thought, made the sound decision to come back to Arkansas. Could you see Kentucky and Arkansas maybe trying to cherry pick some UConn guys?
I think Arkansas would definitely be in on that. I could see Cal going out and getting a couple of those guys. Again, I'm thinking of Caravan. I don't know if he would leave, but
right.
I'm thinking of the possibility of Arkansas adding an Alex Caravan, even though, again, I don't know how realistic that is, because Cal now has a front court that features Jonas Adu, Trevon Brazile, Big Z, and Adu Thiero. That is already – they're already 4 deep there, which Thiero can kind of play the small forward or whatever if he needs to. But, my goodness, they've already got one of the best front courts out there. And, again, I'm just playing hypotheticals. Yes. It's probably more likely they would want to load up at the guard position. They've got John L. Davis, DJ Wagner, Boogie Plan, but they could probably use at least a couple more guys there for depth purposes. So, yeah, I think Arkansas, in all honesty, if you had to pick an SEC team that could try to feast off of any transfers out at UConn, I think Arkansas would easily be at the top of that list. Kentucky does still have that spot open. Mark Pope's done a good job. But I'll be honest, sure, you're not going to turn down if you get a national championship-type player potentially joining. But I think Kentucky has actually done a really good job of kind of building the depth on their own roster so far. I think they've kind of got a group that I don't know who that, I don't know if they have an 18, 19 per point per game score, but I think their overall depth, and we were talking about this the other day, feels like they've got 7 guys who could average from, anywhere from 9 to 15 points or something. And I think that's a good thing to have with the depth they built. But yeah, those were teams that I would keep an eye on for sure. Tennessee's another one. I think Tennessee's pretty much done, but I wouldn't discount the possibility that Tennessee's a team that could use another piece somewhere, because I really like kind of that first 5, 6, 7 for them. But I'd be okay maybe seeing them add another run to the mix somewhere.
When you look at the preseason right now, we're very early in the preseason. How deep is this SEC league right now with all the moves and it's kind of funny. We're talking like it's free agency, but all the offseason moves that every SEC team
basically
made,
is.
It is, but I mean, how deep has this league become with the addition now of Texas and Oklahoma in there going into next year?
Yeah, I think it's got a really good case to be the strongest conference in the country. You know, I know some of the early bracketology stuff came out, and I think Lenardi had 11 SEC teams in or whatever. And here's the thing, people can pick on Lenardi all they want. I don't think he's wrong at all. I think when you look at kind of the state of the rosters right now, I mean, you've got what I think are probably pretty good 6 or 7 that feel strongly that they should be preseason top 25 teams. And then you're talking, maybe the teams like Mississippi State. I think Missouri is going to be greatly improved. I think right now, if I'm picking my NCAA tournament teams from the SEC, I think Missouri's in there. And, whether people like that or not based on the fact they went over, they just have a much better roster. Like they have, I said Alabama's probably the deepest team in the SEC. Missouri's probably challenging for number 2, I think, just in terms of the depth they have on the roster there. But I think you've got, again, when you look at just kind of the way things shape up, to me, Alabama's the head of the class. I think Auburn and Tennessee are right there. I think Arkansas is right there, too, now, based on that roster. And then you're looking, at teams like what can Kentucky be? What can Florida be? And you just keep going down the line. Like I said, Missouri. I think Texas has a good, claim to be a preseason top 25 team. A&M brings back so many pieces. Right there, that's 8 or 9 teams. And then as we do every year, guys, there's going to be some of these teams that are like South Carolina. Could that be Vanderbilt next year? I think Mark Bison's put together a pretty good roster there. There's a lot of guys who are unproven at the power conference level, but they got A.J. Hogard from Michigan State. I thought that was the biggest addition for anybody, right? And so,
under the radar, yeah.
Yeah, and when you look down the line, to me, it's like when I'm looking at it right now, there's really only maybe 3 teams that I feel like I could just, I don't want to say completely count out, but I would say it's going to be a real chore for them to make the NCAA tournament, even in a best-case scenario. But the other 13, I think you could make the case for. And so that's why I think that the league is kind of entering another year, especially adding 2 to the mix. I've got more high expectations for Texas than Oklahoma. But, yeah, this league is loaded as usual.
It really is, and it's going to be a fascinating next few days with Dan Hurley. And we know Southeastern 14 is going to be all over it. Blake, let everybody know how to follow you and you guys' coverage.
Yeah, I always appreciate it, guys. You can find us on YouTube, Southeastern 14. Yeah, you can check out everything we're talking about basketball-wise. We just put out our 2nd episode of our new kind of long-form show we're doing each week, so you can check that out. Lots of talking there on all these teams. And, yeah, plenty of baseball and football coverage as well. You can find us on YouTube, Southeastern 14.
Thank you, sir.
Blake.
Thanks, guys.
So Blake Lovell said something interesting in there. He said, the way too early projections are 11 teams from the league getting in.
Yeah, that was with the Joey brackets, yeah.
But keep in mind, we're going to have to get used to hearing those numbers because with the conferences expanding the way they are, the SEC will have 16 teams in. Okay? Getting 11 in is kind of like getting 7 or 8 in under 14. The Big Ten will have 17 teams. It's not unthinkable to think that the Big Ten will have 12 or 13 teams in the NCAA tournament. The ACC will have, 18 teams in because they're adding 3 more. So it's not unthinkable to think that there's 10 or 11 ACC teams that make the field now because with these expanded conferences, those numbers are going to go up.
They need to rename these conferences. They don't have 10 teams anymore. They don't have 12. Come on.
They don't.
They don't. It makes no sense. Just like our president.
Might as well. I have nowhere to go with that. Neither does he. Anyway, we got to get a break in. We're talking.
What's your name again? R.I.P.
God rest your soul. Yeah. Let's get a break in.
.97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show. followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH Sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
To sell and offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
AL cert number 21014.
As the summertime approaches, and if you are in the business for a new air conditioning unit, only one place to call, Talon Heating and Air. Thomas from Talon Heating and Air with us. Thomas, well, this is the time.
That's right. People are needing HVAC, air conditioner repairs done left and right, and we're here to serve.
Talk about the services that Talon Heating and Air can provide.
So Talon Heating and Air, we can come out, we can fix your unit, we can replace your unit, or we can just do maintenance on your unit. We cover all aspects of anything to do with your house and HVAC, from mini splits to gas pack.
In the name of free, Talon Heating and Air offering several free things.
That's right. We're offering a free second opinion. We always offer that year round. And then we're also offering a free service call with a repair during regular hours. So
okay, it's Talon Heating and Air. Give them a call at
256-503-4490.
You can also find them online at
that's talenthvac.com.
Give Talent Heating and Air a call today.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Sorry. This is just too good.
The Lakers have high hopes for a living. They're praying.
Hey, high on something.
I didn't say that. I hope that doesn't come back to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can say pretty much anything I want, and it doesn't matter because it'll always just be, "Oh, Drew said it."
I know what. I mean, come on.
No, but anyway, it's funny because in an age of social media world that we live in right now, I mean, it's instant gratification and instant reaction. And that's what you get with social media and Twitter and X or whatever we want to call it or whatever it is. By the way, on your computer, if you type in X, X comes up.
Yeah.
If you type in Twitter, Twitter comes up. So you can type in either one. You can type in X or you can type in Twitter.
They're the same, though.
But they both come up. So you don't have
to.
You know what I mean? It's like they... Anyway, but I digress. It's so funny because people have gone through and they have and they have scoured LeBron James's Twitter account.
Oh, they found something.
They found a tweet
he
that he
loves
put
Dan
out,
Hurley.
during the national championship game, saying, "Oh,
you know how
I love his
awkward that is, though. He
offense."
was tweeting it at his boy J.J. Redick, who was the hot candidate 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh yeah, because it was J.J. Redick who had Dan Hurley on his podcast.
Oh yeah. The old man of the 3,
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I love Dan Hurley's offense, and I love
now Dan Hurley has bumped you out of a job. You may have to go back to television."
Yeah, and it wasn't J.J. Redick that he was talking about, who the Lakers presumably, as of yesterday, were looking at to be their head coach. Now is Dan Hurley as their head coach, and LeBron James was in love with him back on the podcast. So, I mean, it's funny just to go through and watch social media explode with this news and how everybody is reacting. Now talks between Hurley and the Lakers have active traction, and Hurley's always had an ambition of making the leap to the NBA.
Oh, well, that's been put out, huh?
Yeah, Adrian did put it out.
If he put it out there, then we know it's coming straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, come on, anybody, you got to pay attention. But if you know Woj's career and following it and books he's written, yeah, I mean, he's a Jersey guy, and he's very, very close to the Hurley family. So that's why if you're a UConn fan, you better be Hail Marying and, just, getting down on your knees and praying and hope that he does stay. But you got to be real nervous about it. I would say that.
Oh, wow.
What happened this time?
I just saw this video.
Uh-oh.
This family in Texas went through a drive-through safari.
A drive-through what?
A drive-through safari.
Yeah.
And a giraffe.
Oh, you mean on over in Africa or something?
No, in Texas.
In Texas. They had one in Texas?
Yes. This family went through a drive-through safari in Texas, and a giraffe, they were in a truck. And the giraffe, look at this. The giraffe lowers its head down and picks a 2-year-old out of the car.
Now that's interesting. I mean, giraffes are very nice, docile animals, but I mean, wow. I mean,
it just picked the 2-year-old up.
That would be a little nerve-wracking.
It has nothing to do with Dan Hurley.
I didn't know where the hell this show was going. There's sometimes. That sign up there says have fun, but sometimes I don't know where this is going, but I wondered what you saw. I thought Madame had said something.
No, the giraffe just picked the 2-year-old up.
Right.
And was going to take it with it as food or something. And wow.
Okay.
All right. Anyway. Let's go to the College World Series.
Well, speaking of being redundant,
Oklahoma. Wow, they looked good last night.
Shocker. Going for 4 in a row. Never happened.
They looked really good last night in their win against Texas in Game 1 of the Women's College World Series. 8-3 winners. Last night, they stand 1 win away from their 4th consecutive national championship, which, by the way, is something has never been done in Women's College World Series history.
No, never. What they're doing is just unprecedented. This would be their 8th championship, and they'd only be behind the UCLA Bruins in history.
Yeah. Oklahoma, hot bats. There was like 4 home runs early in this game yesterday. They were just launching the ball over the field.
Look, man, they get locked in, and Florida had a legit shot to do something that nobody thought was possible. Beat them 2 in a row. Beat them 9-3, was up 5-2, and they just couldn't hold the lead. Oklahoma's a machine. And speaking of that, Auburn found their softball coach.
I did not see that.
Yes.
So I have been sleeping under a rock, honestly. But you are.
It happened yesterday afternoon. So
you are right. Auburn does find Kate Malvo Chris and Kate Malvo have been named Auburn softball co-head
husband and
coaches.
wife, like the Weekleys, who they were working for this past year. Even though one of the Weekleys, Ralph, is retired.
Yeah. Both come to Auburn after serving as assistant coaches at the University of Tennessee.
Right.
Where they helped the Lady Vols win back-to-back SEC regular season titles. The two helped Tennessee to 136 wins over the last 3 seasons, tied for 10th most nationally, second most by an SEC team. Past season, Tennessee won. They won the regular season title. They went 44-12, made the Super Regional appearance, and missed out on a trip to the Women's College World Series. Alabama got that trip over Tennessee because Alabama was able to win that Super Regional in Knoxville. But anyway,
yeah, and they did a good job for Coach Weekly, and they're Louisianans. They've been at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, the University of Louisiana. In other words, they've been at Kansas. They've been around the world of softball. It's going to be a very interesting hire, hiring husband and wife, and Coach Malvo. He's done a good job. He's a guy that has a known as a background with hitters and done a nice job offensively. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how Chris Malvo and his wife Kate do at the head of this Auburn program.
Yeah, a little different. Mickey Dean, when he came in, he was more of a pitching guru, more of a defensive style of a coach. Alabama going more with the offensive style or I should say Auburn. Yeah, I was going to say Alabama because I was just wondering if Patrick Murphy had been fired yet.
I don't want to talk about that. Good Lord. Got some tweaking that got to happen, but fired.
Oh, there's some idiots out there that'll put it on record that say he should have been fired.
I blocked a lot of people. That's just all I'll say.
All right. Well,
most of them had like 8 followers and were idiots. It's probably burner accounts. I hate burner accounts, by the way.
Some of them were not burner accounts.
Some of them are just idiots.
Some of them were people that really thought they were smart, but they were not. Anyway, Brad Phillips is smart.
He's smart, and he's coming home.
Yes, he is. Brad Phillips has been named the new head baseball coach at the Hartselle Tigers. He will join us coming up next.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere. Bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
HydroFest returns to Guntersville Lake June 29th and 30th with 4 classes of boats racing on the fastest water in the South with 2 days of racing. Gates open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and the fully restored world record speed holder, Miss US 1, will be on the water for exhibition runs for the first time in 62 years. There'll be food trucks, a kids splash zone, and other entertainment, making HydroFest the best place to be on the last weekend in June. Tickets start at just $15 for a day pass. Tickets and tailgate spaces available at GuntersvilleLakeHydroFest.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders, and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Where do you want to go with that one? We could go a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, the heat's on the Lakers, the heat's on UConn, it's on everybody.
The heat is on us to pull off an extraordinary good banquet on June 17th for the Rocket City Awards.
We're under siege, yeah.
And one of the highlights is going to be our inspirational. Now, we call this the Inspirational Award.
Yeah,
and
last year it was for an individual. Yeah,
it can either go to an individual.
Yeah, that's correct.
And being that we've only had it for 2 years,
yeah,
we still have a lot of direction we can take this. But it can go to an individual. It can go to a player. It can go to a coach. It can go to a team. It can go to anybody, really, in the sports world here in the Tennessee Valley. And this year, that inspirational aspect will fall to a team, and it's going to be the Hartselle Tigers.
Yes.
And we invite you to join us Monday, June 17th, to find out why, find out the journey, hear the whole story with the Hartselle Tiger baseball program. But they did have probably one of the toughest jobs to do, and that was to fill a vacancy left by longtime legendary, and I say legendary, I cannot say that enough.
And that's not overused in this case.
Hall of Fame head coach William Booth, who passed away on the eve of Hartselle's 6A state baseball championship series. And so that means now you got to find a head coach, and it's never easy to try to fill those gigantic shoes, but somebody is going to do it, and they've got the right guy.
And it's a very familiar name. It's someone I've known for a long time. He's had a great career on the high school and college level up to this point. He and his wife have decided to come back home and take the reins of this Hartselle program. It's an honor to have on the show for the first time. He's coming off of a great run as pitching coach at both Troy and the South Alabama Jaguars. Before that, he was the head baseball coach at Charles Henderson of Troy and in Niceville, Florida. But he will be the next head baseball coach of the Hartselle Tigers, and that's Brad Phillips. Coach, you're with Drew and Scott in Huntsville. We welcome you back to your native North Alabama. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Great to be in transition back to North Alabama.
Yeah, it really is. I was very excited when I read the press release. I really didn't have to read the whole thing. When I saw it was a South Alabama assistant, I had a very, very good idea who it was. And, I mean, I know Jake Miles very well. He did a great job with his poker face. He didn't tell me. He just said be on the look for we got a board meeting tonight, and we were talking actually about the Rocket City Awards. But he said, we got a board meeting tonight. We're bringing in a baseball coach. We're very excited. It was very cool to know that you're coming home. I followed your career very closely on the high school and college level when you were at Hazel Green, and then, of course, Gadsden State and Montevallo. I'm getting so old now. I remember when you coached Post 237 at Butler High School. I think that may have been your first coaching job. And even I worked for I used to coach summer ball back in its infancy, and I helped Wayne Gambrell, and you even pitched for us in one time and helped us out. So it's been great to follow your career, man, and then welcome back, and just talk about taking on this challenge of taking one of the best baseball jobs in the Southeast and deciding to leave the college realm and come back to high school.
Yeah, it's really an honor to be able to, take over the reins what Coach Booth has built. He's on the Mount Rushmore of high school athletics here in the state of Alabama. And, when people think about Alabama high school baseball, his name is the first guy that, everybody thinks of, just, because of all of his success and the length of time that he did it. And so for me to be the one to attempt to take over what he has done is pretty humbling for me because over this last couple of weeks, I've kind of thought about the things that he's done, and it's just amazing the things that he's been able to accomplish for such a long period of time. So it will be a challenge. I know the expectations there in that community. I know the tradition. It's something that they don't take lightly. Their athletics, especially baseball. So I'm looking forward to it. And I told somebody the other day, if I can feel a small, tiny fraction of the footprint he's made on that community and that program, then I would consider it a success.
I imagine there were very few jobs that you would even consider leaving the college program for, especially the program that South Alabama has built, to leave a program like South Alabama to take a head coaching job on the high school level.
That you're exactly right. That is probably one of the very few that I would consider. And when Jake called and we started discussing the opportunity, there was too many boxes being checked to say this is the place that we would come home for. And there's a lot of good things about this opportunity, and taking over a great program is one. Getting my family back closer to our family is a huge box to check on that as well. I am going to miss the college game. It's a totally different game. It's a totally different build up into the season. I will say this: I've enjoyed not having to be in the transfer portal the last couple of days.
I wondered about that.
But no, we're excited.
Well, and of course, your wife Peyton, she's a Madison native too, so I'm sure, again, like you said, both of your families are very excited on both sides that you're coming back home to Hartselle to take this job. And I know you're used to great cultures. I mean, you played for one of my favorite people when I was growing up. I'm a Huntsville High grad, but I'm very familiar with Jeff Bell. Matter of fact, he works across the street from me now where I live. He's the athletic director at Whitesburg Christian Academy, and I know he meant a lot to you, and he built a special culture there at Hazel Green. How have you kind of tried to take what he taught you and apply that in your career?
Well, I mean, he instilled in us from back when we played. It was all about work. It was just work. Keep it's an overused term, the grind and the work, but it's true, and that's what he did. And that's you go back and look at all the guys that I know come through when I did. That's what was instilled in us through him, and to this day, it means so much to what we've done in our careers. Going back to those long practices, in Hazel Green, Alabama, back in 95, 96, 97, they're still with us, and you can't get away from that. It doesn't matter what level you're at, what career you're in, whatever you're doing. It's all about just continuing to work, and that's the one thing that I can take away, from my time with him. I still keep up with him, talk to him probably about every other day.
Nice.
My daughter's named after him. That's
very
how much,
cool.
That's how much he means to me. So, and I know the community there at Hartselle is very similar to the community that I grew up in Hazel Green. It's a smaller community that takes their high school athletics very serious. And it's built around some of the same ideas that was back when we were in Hazel Green. So, it's stuck with us all throughout my career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you take over a program that's going to lose 11 talented seniors, Coach.
Thanks for the reminder. It's one of those things. It happens. It's always, hey, if you could hold on to this guy, what would you be next year? And this and that. We do it every year, but that's the impressive thing about what Hartselle has done through the years, not just through the last 3 or 4 years, but you look past over the last 20, 25, 30 years, what they've done, they've stayed at the top. And it's because of, the culture there and the tradition and classes passing down to the next class, what they've done, what they've learned. And, I heard somebody say the other day that pride never graduates. And that, I think that goes here in this program. It just continues to move forward, move down the line, and kids grow up in that community wanting to be the next JoJo Williamson or the next, Cade Miles or Peyton Steele. They grow up doing that, and then here comes their turn. And it's funny because doing what I've done, I've been able to see through. I've been able to watch a lot of high school ball and junior college ball and college. Every time I turn around, there's a kid from Hartselle playing and doing something that he wasn't necessarily a standout at his high school team, but he's going off the next level and he's having success. And it's just amazing the players they put out. So yes, there's 11 holes there to fill from a senior standpoint, but it's been done in the past.
Yeah, it has, and they've also turned out great coaches. You got what Chris Heaps did at Russellville and what he's doing at Briarwood now, and David Presley in our community from Madison Academy. I know he played for Coach Booth at Hartselle. There's the trees for this, the coaching trees, the players. That's what makes Hartselle baseball so special. It runs deep.
It does. David, me and David go back a long way. He actually played for me. He played for me one summer up in Missouri. I remember that summer he got engaged, but we go back a long way, and I know that the same things that Coach Bell instilled in us when we were playing, I could see in him when he played. And there's many, many others. He's just an example, but like you said, the tree from Coach Booth's time there is, whether it's players or coaches, is huge. And it's really super impressive of what he has been able to do in that community, in that program, and the influence he has had on a lot of lives.
And Coach, as we know, it's been a whirlwind for you. It's been a couple weeks. You've had to decide your next move and to take this job, but things have changed a lot in the high school landscape, how you can work in the summer, how you do things. I know you're going to hit the ground running. What are the next steps for you as you get moved back here and you take over the reins of this Hartselle program?
Well, we just got to get organized. We're here in Mobile still. I've got a few loose ends to finish up here and get tied up here. But, you're right. High school baseball, especially in the state of Alabama and in North Alabama for that matter, has changed dramatically over the last 10 years.
Right.
And it's all because of the care, time, money, finances, all of which is being put into the sport. And it's showing now. You can see when you go through and look at the different classifications of who made it to the finals, who wins who's winning state championships, and you look and see what's happening in the northern part of the state. It's very, very impressive, and it's because people care even more now. But as far as our next process goes, is just kind of getting to know the guys, and we've got time. It's not like that's one thing I've learned, through the college game is you got time. It's not like you got to, we're not going to win a state championship, next week. We've got time, but just to get to know the guys, get rooted into the community and get going from there.
Well, you've spent a lot of time in the college game the past year. How much super regionals you going to watch this weekend?
I'll be honest with you. I'll catch a couple of games just because of people I know, watching them, pulling for them. I did that last week with the regional. I didn't stay in front of the TV locked in. Of course, I was having to do some, home searching and that sort of thing as well. But I'll stay in touch with the guys that I know and pulling for that are still in there. And other than that, I'm going to try to get prepared for the move up there.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to featuring Hartselle baseball at our Rocket City Awards. I know you heard about that. We're going to be giving them the Inspiration Award because it was a great year for a special senior class that I know that you're going to be rebuilding this program. But you mentioned some of those seniors and Peyton Steele and JoJo Williamson and those guys, and and of course Cole Miles, because again they went through a lot. They lost a legendary coach, but we certainly are very excited for your opportunity to try to fill those shoes. And Hartsville's a great place, very tight-knit community, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity for you and your wife to come back here and have a great impact, Coach.
Thank you, guys. We're looking forward to it.
Well, we really appreciate the time. I know it's a busy one for you, trying to get moved back and everything. Thank you for taking some time to join us, and we look forward to speaking with you again in the near future. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Let's get a break in. Going to wrap it all up next.
.97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandyman. At noon, it's the Tom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere. Heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I want to work this in real
Here
fast.
in Normandy, the rescue began. Here the Allies stood and fought against tyranny in a giant undertaking unparalleled in human history. We stand on a lonely, windswept point on the northern shore of France. The air is soft, but 40 years ago at this moment, the air was dense with smoke and the cries of men, and the air was filled with the crack of rifle fire and the roar of cannon.
That was Ronald Reagan's speech 40 years ago.
Wow.
On the shores of Normandy. we are celebrating 80-year anniversary today of the invasion of Normandy. So, anyone involved, thoughts, prayers.
Yeah.
Thank yous, everything, as we honor those who gave their ultimate
sacrifice. Yeah,
yes,
no doubt. It's
on the beach there. So
yeah, it's no doubt for D-Day. It's somber, but you have to be thankful because we wouldn't be here without those that sacrificed. And it's great to hear from and hear that audio from arguably our greatest president.
40 years ago. That was 40 years ago. All right. 256-576-4977. You can join the show, join the program. Obviously, the biggest headlines. By the way, college football returns in 79 days, in case you're really wondering.
I wonder where Dan Hurley will be by then.
Dan Hurley will be cruising into In-N-Out Burger on the West Coast.
Are you saying he's going?
I think he's going. I think there's too much smoke to this one. I don't know. He may ultimately decide to stay at UConn. But, look, we just had Coach Phillips on, and he said there's very few jobs that you would leave, that he would have left a college program to go take a high school coaching job, and Hartzell is one of those. I think there's very few jobs in the NBA that Dan Hurley would leave.
Yeah, so the Lakers have a lot of tradition.
The Lakers are one of those jobs. Despite LeDum and all them being there and all that other stuff, the Lakers still has Lakers across their chest, and it's still a headlining job. And I think Dan Hurley, that's intriguing to Dan Hurley. He's not going to go take another college job, because if he did, he would be wearing the Wildcats of Kentucky across his chest, and he's not. Mm-hmm. So I think I think he's going. Probably one of the best, funniest things of the headlines. So the Chicago White Sox, we've told you how bad they are, right?
Horrendous.
They lost their 13th straight game last night.
Right.
Okay? Their fans have just given up.
Oh.
But they've given up in creative ways.
Oh, really?
Yes. They are trying to write in Martin Maldonado into the All-Star game.
Who the hell is Martin Maldonado? I guess
He's a former Huntsville Star, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Martin Maldonado. He's a catcher. Former Huntsville Star back in the day.
Yeah.
They're trying to write him in. His batting average, .076.
Getting creative.
They are trying to write in Martin Maldonado into the All-Star game with a .076 batting average, because they've just given up. They're just trying to have some fun on the season right now.
Whatever floats your boat there.
Guess what? I made the All-Star game. I got a .076 batting average.
Well, it's better than Camden Hayslips. He didn't get a hit for Alabama last year. He was over. He had a couple of injuries, and now he's in the transfer portal. Speaking of that portal that Coach Phillips was talking about.
Yeah, baseball portal's open.
Yeah, could be, but more basketball open if the UConn Huskies have a transition.
We could play KC and the Sunshine Band for all those baseball guys as well. Please don't go.
Please don't go. Please don't go, Dan. Please don't go.
He gone. We gone. Literally, we're not here tomorrow. Remember, University Kia, 12 to 150 on Saturday.
Yep.
That's where we'll be. Come buy a car from us. We'll sell you one cheap.
Pay for